All right, I want to give all praises, honor, and glory unto Yahweh Bahashim, Yahweh Shai Bahashim, Rekak Wadash. I want to give double honors unto the apostles and those a great millstone who I learned this truth from. I want to say peace, mercy, and blessings unto all the hopeful elect. The name of the Heavenly Father is Yahweh, and that means He exists, or He is to be. The name of the Son is Yahweh Shai, and that means He is to deliver. We are the Hebrew Israelites. All right, and there's 12 tribes, and today we're being called by bywords and proverbs. All right, and as you can see from this video, this is from rumble.com. It says Bill Gates insider admits data centers built to kill and replace 200 million Babylonians by 2030. All right, and this is Lord willing, I'll take this down because they put a lot. There's a lot of good information in this video. Probably gonna play the whole thing and get some precepts because there's a lot of good information. It really shows you how Esau, how he's a damn devil. All right, how he's the pale horse. You know.
Has come forward with horrifying revelations about the AI mega facilities rising across the country. These aren't harmless tech campuses powering the internet. They're command centers for a globalist system of surveillance and control beyond anything humanity has ever seen. The insider claims the architecture being built inside these compounds will make the surveillance state of modern-day China look primitive by comparison. Vast AI networks tracking entire populations in real time, total biometric surveillance, predictive behavior analysis, financial monitoring, psychological profiling. A machine designed not just to watch humanity, but to please manipulate and control it algorithmically. And according to the whistleblower, the elites building this system are preparing to perpetrate crimes against humanity on a scale the world has never witnessed. Because this isn't just about controlling the population, it's about depopulating it. The only question the globalists are asking is who survives the coming collapse and who remains behind.
And who do they want to kill? They want to kill you Israelites, you so-called Negroes, Latinos, Native Americans, Seminole Indians. Now they're gonna get a lot of their own. All right, because like my man said, which they put him in this video too, he said it's one big club at UN. And I forget his name, but you'll see. They actually put that clip. I don't know if they put the exact clip, but they put a segment of his later in this video. I think his name is George Collins. But he said it's a one big club, a UN in it. So a lot of Edomites, they aren't in the 1%, the elites too. So they're going to sacrifice a lot of their own. But the main target is the Israelites, and the ones who do survive, remain alive, they want total control over you via the mark of the beast, which is the RFID chip. All right. Now, notice he spoke about the Depop. I'm speaking code, to the best about that I can. You look that up. Depop is the reduction in the number of people living in a specific area, region, or country. In this case, they want to do it all over the world, but especially in Babylon the Great. All right? It is a process where population density decreases over time, often driven by factors like low fertility rates, high mortality, or out-migration. All right? And that's just the AI overview. You look it up in the Merriam-Webster. The act of depopulating or the state of being depopulated. Right? Now that is one of the ways Esau is claiming to be who claimed to be God, because the Most High, ultimately, He's the one who decides who lives and who dies, right? This is Deuteronomy 32 and 39. See now that I, even I, am He, and there is no power with me. I kill and I make alive. I wound and I heal. And it is there any that can deliver out of my hand. You see that? But Esau is trying to play God by deciding who lives and who dies, who can procreate. The Most High created this planet, right? This is Genesis 9 and 7. And you, be ye fruitful and multiply, bring forth abundantly in the earth, and multiply therein. The scripture says, be fruitful and multiply. You can't do that in this man's kingdom. You cannot do that here. All right? This is hell.
as obedient slaves inside the digital concentration camp they're building. Before we dive in, subscribe to the channel if you haven't already, and join the People's Voice Locals community to join our incredible community, support the channel, and gain access to exclusive and uncensored content. You still think the data centers are there to store family photos, emails, and streaming videos? That's the bait and switch they're feeding the public, while something far darker is being built behind the curtain. The New World Order never disappeared. It just stopped announcing itself and went digital.
I believe the progress that we have made in the partnership sets us up well for the New World Order.
Across
They've been pushing this for decades, man. All right? Should I dare even say centuries? You know, they've been talking about the NWO for the last couple hundred years. This has been on their agenda. All right?
the country, enormous concrete fortresses, many times larger than Manhattan, are rising out of farmland at unbelievable speed. Entire communities are being transformed into industrial AI zones. Power grids are being expanded for them. Water supplies are being drained for them. Small towns...
Water supplies are being drained for them. Okay, so if you drain the water supply, what is that going to cause? That's going to cause a drought. Droughts can cause wildfires. Droughts will lead to famines. All right, it's going to lead to destroying of habitats. What's said in the address. This is second Esdras 5 and 8. There shall be a confusion also in many places, and the fire off shall be sent out. That's those wildfires. You know, these data centers, they give off, or they emit frequencies, and they actually give off a sound. And the people got to live near those things. They're becoming sick. You got to imagine they're restless. It says, and the wild beasts shall change their places. Goes into, Esau, deforestation. The AI overview again. Deforestation is the purposeful large-scale clearing or removal of forests and trees, converting wooded land into non-forest areas such as agriculture, pasture, or urban development. It is mostly a human-driven process that leads to permanent loss of forests. All right? This is Esau, man. This is the devil. All right? The thief coming not for to steal, kill, and destroy. Finishing off, 2 Esdras 5 and 8. It says, and the wild beasts shall change their places, and mistress woman shall bring forth monsters. And we see that happening too, But the point is, the wildfires and the destruction of habitats, causing them, engineered droughts, it's going to lead to famine,
Suddenly surrounded by these gigantic facilities humming day and night, like mechanical city.
Humming day and night,
And behind these data centers stands the usual suspects. Bill Gates, BlackRock, Palantir. And they're racing to build these data centers before the public fully realizes what's unfolding right in front of them.
This is the damn devil, right? Look at what he's doing, right? This is Job 9 and 24. The earth is given into the hand of the wicked, which is Esau, Edom. He covered the faces of the judges thereof. If not, where and who is he? So if this man ain't the devil, then where he at?
You think understands what will happen when the public wakes up. That's why he's preemptively accusing any American who fights back of being a domestic terrorist.
Many more things are going to have to be underground. But even here in the United States, if we're going to...
Yeah, and if you try to fight against this man, they're going to label you a domestic T,
be building, let's say, these 1 gigawatt data centers, how do we make sure we're not protecting those $50 billion, $75 billion investments? We have to relook at everything because of the role of drone warfare. Right now we're looking at it internationally, but one of my concerns is, could it be a domestic terrorism using a $3,000?
So they're concerned that people are going to, domestically, people are going to take drones and target those data centers. So I wouldn't be surprised to hear about that or something like that,
Our drone. So all of these things are actually opportunities, not problems. It's going to require, as we said, trillions of dollars of capital.
Before you take him at face value, you should be aware Fink went on the record calling for mass depopulation in Western countries to elevate the elite standard of living.
I could argue in the developed countries, the big winners are countries that have shrinking populations. Okay, that's something that most people never talked about, shrinking demographics. These countries will rapidly develop robotics and AI and technology. And
in other words, BlackRock CEO Depop is a good thing because now we have AI to do your jobs. We don't need you, okay? We don't need you as slaves, useless eaters anymore. So now we're just going to depop you and use AI,
And if the promise, I didn't say it's going to happen, but if the promise of all that transforms productivity, which most of us think it will, we'll be able to elevate the standard of living of countries and the standard of living of individuals.
Then there's
elevate the standard of living of the elite, right? Get rid of everybody else.
Bill Gates. Mr. Depopulation himself spent the last decade quietly buying up massive stretches of farmland for reasons nobody could fully explain at the time. But now, the pattern is impossible to ignore. Wherever Gates' landholding expanded, data centers followed. Farmers are being evicted from the land, and family homes are being seized for the globalist project. We're not talking about a dystopian future. This is happening right now.
Hey you guys, my name's Ansley. I live in Coweta County, Georgia. I wanted to come out here and show you guys firsthand what is happening to our county. So as you can see behind me, we have these power lines. Georgia Power is going to expand these lines to support power to the data center. What they're doing to homeowners is they're taking their homes. This is my childhood home behind me. It is being taken by force by Georgia Power. Homeowners in this county do not have a choice. It is called eminent domain.
It's called eminent domain. All right, so let's look that up. It says define eminent domain. Eminent domain is the power of government to take private property for public use without the owner's consent, provided they pay this compensation. Rooted in the Fifth Amendment, it allows governments to acquire land for projects like roads, schools, and utilities. All right, AI data centers, concentration camps, also known as condemnation or expropriation. All right, so this is going to start taking people's shit, man. All right, it's going to start taking people's land and putting up camps, data centers, whatever, So you're not free here. That right there should let people know that you're not free.
And they will take it.
The official explanation is that these facilities are needed for cloud computing and artificial intelligence. But according to an insider who works underground setting up one of Gates' Manhattan-sized compounds, the reality is far darker than anyone realizes. The whistleblower describes underground server halls stretching for miles, packed with systems designed not just to store information, but to monitor and predict human behavior itself. Entire divisions dedicated to real-time population tracking, behavioral modeling, and predictive surveillance. These systems don't just collect data, they're building profiles of entire societies. Every phone is a tracking device. Every smart appliance is a sensor. Every electric vehicle uploads oceans of movement data. Surveillance cameras, license plate readers, biometric scanners, bank transactions, private messages, search histories, medical records, and facial recognition systems are all fed into centralized AI networks, designed to monitor and control every aspect of human activity in real time. And sitting at the center of this...
And that was a lot. That was a lot. But yeah, that's the purpose of it, to help you. All right, in actuality, the data centers, the A to the I, that's actually helping destroy the earth too. All right, by taking millions, if not billions, of gallons of water, causing droughts. you know?
Surveillance architecture is Palantir.
Also at Davos last January, Palantir CEO Alex Karp said that AI will destroy humanity's jobs and described a future in which high school students train for factory jobs, no one goes to college or immigrates, and black box software run by major government contractors determines whether society is being run properly. For the more compliant, the so-called 15-minute city, smart city, and freedom city models are being built to incorporate digital ID, carbon tracking, and population monitoring. Where you live, how far you travel, and what your carbon footprint is are already being tracked in multiple countries and several U.S. cities.
And that's part of their NWO, total control. All right? Total control. But this involves a lot of death. All right? Was that in Ezekiel? A sword is being sharpened, you know?
The insider says the goal is not merely to watch people, but to create digital replicas of society itself. Simulations capable of predicting unrest, identifying dissent, and disabling non-compliant individuals before they even act. Which suddenly explains why criticism of the data centers seems to vanish online almost as quickly as it appears. Videos disappear, accounts are shut down, discussions get buried. Because the machine is already protecting itself while it's still being built.
I made 2 videos talking about how Georgia Power is taking families' homes and properties against their will. One of those being my own family. I have a personal connection to this story. But when I made these videos to speak out against it, TikTok banned my videos. They said that they're a violation of community guidelines. I never violated any community guidelines. I only came on here to tell the truth about what's happening in Coweta County, Georgia. This is happening to at least 30 people. Some of them are elderly, cannot handle this on their own. Some of these people have families. Some of these properties have been passed down by generation to generation.
And here's where the globalist future becomes truly terrifying. According to the insider, the elites funding this AI revolution don't believe most human beings are necessary in the future they're creating.
Yeah, which goes into matter of fact, let me play this part. Didn't get the precept.
Noah Harari, the prophet of Davos, has been preaching for the globalist death cult for years. Now BlackRock, Bill Gates and Palantir are making their move and carrying out the sadistic globalist vision. They're obsessed with depopulating the world.
Yeah, they're obsessed with the world. All right. Let's let me go to this is Revelation 6 and 8. This is KJV. And I looked, and behold, a pale horse, and his name that sat on him was Death, and hell followed with him. That's Esau, Edom. All right. Death and hell followed with them. Right? And Habakkuk says he has as death and cannot be satisfied. And power was given unto him, and power was given unto them over the fourth part of the earth to kill with sword, which is war, you know, vaccine, whatever, man. All right, pestilence, and with hunger, famine, which they're engineering droughts and famines, right? And with death, and with the beasts of the earth. All right, so this he has to be the devil. All right, this man actually thinks he's God. This is 2 Thessalonians 2, and let's start at 1. I will beseech you, brother, coming of our Lord Yahushua HaMashiach, and by our gathering together unto him, that ye be not so soon shaken in mind, or be troubled, neither by spirit, nor by word, nor by letter as from us, as that the day of Mashiach is at hand. Let no man deceive you by any means, for that day shall not come, except there come a falling away first, and that man of sin be revealed, the son of perdition. The son of perdition is Esau, Edom. He's also that man of sin, and these last days he is being revealed, right? That's why in Jeremiah 49 it says, I have made Esau bare, right? 4, who opposed it and exalted himself above all that is called power, or that it's worship. Yeah, because he think he wants to be worshipped. He has a God complex, so that he, as God, sitteth in the temple of the Most High, showing himself that he is the Most High. He decides who lives and who dies. All right. He decides the earth is overpopulated. He needs to knock the numbers down. Right. 5. Remember ye not that when I was yet with you, I told you these things, and now ye know what would hold it, that he might be revealed in his time. For the mystery of iniquity doth already work. Going back to, when this was written 2,000 years ago, Roman Empire was already working. Now, the second leg of the Roman Empire is back as Babylon the Great. This is the modern day Rome. Only he who now let it will let until he be taken out of the way. The Most High has a purpose. Most High has a plan, which is why he said, I've created the wicked for the day of evil, right? We have been put in this captivity, this punishment, to learn and to undergo wickedness, evils, travails, so we can actually appreciate righteousness. I believe the apostles say that all the time. But, the longer you be in the truth, you understand it. 8. And then shall that wicked be revealed, whom Yahweh by Hashem Yahushua shall consume with the spirit of his mouth, and that's by the prophets, and also the second coming, and shall destroy with the brightness of his coming. So Esau is being revealed as the wicked, the so-called white man. Even him who's coming is after the working of Satan. This man, he's after Satan. He worships Satan. All right? With all power and signs and lying wonders, yet now they're coming out telling you that, the UFOs, the aliens are real. They're debriefing pastors on how to handle the congregation. Right? Project Bluebeam, they're getting ready to put out mass deception. 10. And with all deceivableness of unrighteousness in them that perish, because they receive not the love of the truth, that they might be saved. For all those people don't want to receive the truth, that they might be saved, all right, you're going to be destroyed. 11. And for this cause, the Most High shall send them strong delusion that they should believe a lie. Yeah, you're going to get caught up in it, all right? The 15-minute city, the MOTB, the Project Bluebeam, right? 12. That they all might be damned who believe not the truth, but have pleasure in unrighteousness. Right? So let's go back.
To the tune of billions of people. How are they planning to do it? We have the details from the bowels of the data center up next. Warning, the clock is already ticking. It turns out that the key to losing weight and keeping it can flip in your body. Find that he feels younger, technique for free. Not as citizens, not as communities, but as excess population. No wonder Palantir founder Peter Thiel can't bring himself to declare allegiance to the human race.
I think you would prefer the human race to endure, right? You're hesitating.
Yeah, well,
He asked him, this is Peter Thiel, the guy's interviewing him, asked him, will you prefer that the human race endures? And he's hesitating, because Esau is not about life, all right? He's about death. Let's go back to Rev 8 again. Let's see what it says in the AMP. Amplified Revelation 6 and 8. And so I looked, and behold, an ashen, pale greenish gray horse like a corpse, representing death and pestilence. And its rider's name was Death. All right, and Hades, this is the Amplified version. And Hades, the realm of the dead, which goes into the grave, was following with him. They were given authority and power over a fourth part of earth to kill with the sword and with famine and with plague, pestilence, disease, and by the wild beasts of the earth. So that's what the Fantahanta, that's what all that stuff is about, goes into pestilence, all right? But this man says death and hell's following with them. Death, destruction, suffering, the grave, right?
Yes?
I don't know. I would
This is a long hesitation. This is a long hesitation.
There's so many questions implicit in
Should the
this.
human race survive?
I'd usually never say this live, but you should throw out all your gabapentin boxes and try this pepper trick for neuropathy.
Meanwhile, the globalist
Esau's anti-life. All right, he's the anti-Christ. Which there's not just one man that's gonna come in a shiny suit. All right, it's this whole system. All right.
are buying out elected officials, subverting the American people, refusing to allow the public to have any say in their own future. Tucker spoke with Kevin O'Leary, who is fronting a colossal new data center project in rural Utah.
I would think, since you disagree with the Chinese way of life, which is pretty civilized in a lot of ways, but the one way in which it's barbaric is that it grants its citizens no real rights. And so I would think that you would be very worried about aping their system, which we are now doing. They have total surveillance. It's panopticon in China. We should create our own. Let's take 40,000 acres in Utah and make it possible for the government to know where you are at all times and what you're thinking, listening to you on your phone. Like, we have that.
You have to choose the less of two evils in your scenario. And I'm telling you, what you should do is say, I want Kevin O'Leary to succeed. I want him to beat the Chinese in compute power. Then use the laws of the United States to make sure that you keep that compute power in check. To not have it available, to put down my shovel. I don't think people want me to do that. Even the people in Box Elder, the majority of them want me to hold my shovel and start digging.
There was a referendum among citizens?
3-0. The commissioners of the county said, we want to be
three people voted. The people of the
They're
county.
elected officials. That's how you do it. There's
How
no other
hard
way
is
to
it
do it.
for Kevin O'Leary and Amazon and Microsoft and Google to subvert three county commissioners in rural Utah?
Tucker,
Pretty
they
tough.
they asked us to come. They asked us to bring $50 million.
All your politicians, senators, etc. All of these people are bought and paid for. They ain't the judges, the elites got them in the back pocket, man. That's why they're able to come to these different towns, put up these centers, buy all the land, and just take your shit eminent domain, right?
There's no other way
Amazon,
to do
Google,
it.
and Kevin O'Leary got 3 county commissioners in rural Utah on their side. Good work.
Suddenly, the pieces start fitting together. The attacks on the food supply, the war on farmers, the obsession with fake synthetic meat, and patented seeds, the constant expansion of surveillance technology, the push towards digital currencies and biometric identification, the normalization of censorship, the endless fear campaigns convincing people to surrender even more freedom for more security. It's all connected. The data centers are the foundation for a new kind of civilization, one where Bill Gates, Palantir, and BlackRock control every aspect of human life.
Which those centers are not just about control. Yeah, that's a huge part of it, because that's what Esau wants, total control. But it's also destroying the land, the earth. It's from lincolninstitute.edu. Data drain, the land and water impacts of the I-boom. A low hum emerges from a vast, dimly lit tomb whose occupant devours energy and water with a ferocious inhuman appetite. The beige boxy data center is a vampire of sorts, pallid, immortal, thirsty, sheltered from sunlight, active all night, and much like a vampire, at least according to folklore tradition, it can only enter a place if it's been invited inside. All right? In states and countries across the U.S., lawmakers aren't just opening the door for these metaphorical mechanical monsters. They're actively luring them in with tax breaks and other incentives, eager to lay claim to new municipal revenues and a piece of the explosive growth surrounding the artificial intelligence. That may sound hyperbolic, but data centers truly are resource ravenous. Even a mid-sized data center consumes as much water as a small town, while larger ones require up to 5 million gallons of water every day, as much as a city of 50,000 people. Powering and cooling their rows of server stacks also takes an astonishing amount of electricity. A conventional data center, think cloud storage for your work documents or streaming videos, draws as much electricity as 10,000 to 25,000 households, according to the International Energy Agency. This is also another reason why the cost of your energy bill is going up too, right? But a newer AI-focused hyperscale data center can use as much power as 100,000 homes or more. Meta's Hyperion data center in Louisiana, for example, is expected to draw more than twice the power of the entire city of New Orleans once completed. All right? And that's the high tourist attraction city. You know, another Meta data center planned in Wyoming will use more electricity than every home in the state combined. So there you go. Revelation 11:18, Amplified Bible. And the nations, Gentiles, became enraged. And your wrath and indignation came. And time came for the dead to be judged. And time came to reward your bondservants, the prophets and the saints, the Most High's people. All right? And those who fear your name, the small and the great. And the time came to destroy the destroyers of the earth. And that's Esau, Edom, the damn devil. All right? Along with the rest of these heathens. They're actually destroying the planet with the sinners, with the deforestation, you know, with war, with taking the oil, the fracking. All right? Esau, he can't help himself. He's as death. All right?
A globalist civilization where a radically reduced population is monitored, scored, and controlled through data centers run by AI. George Carlin had it worked out years ago.
The real owners, the big wealthy business interests that control things and make all the important decisions. Forget the politicians. The politicians are put there to give you the idea that you have freedom of choice. You don't. You have no choice. You have owners. They own you. They own everything. They own all the important land. They own and control the corporations. They've long since bought and paid for the Senate, the Congress, the state houses, the city halls. They got the judges in their back pockets. And
fair use, fair use. All right, I'm not using this for any sort of monetary gain, fair use.
They own all the big media companies, so they control just about all of the news and information you get to hear. They got you by the balls. They spend billions of dollars every year.
And that's even not enough for Esau. All right, that's not enough for Esau, man. This is Habakkuk 2 and verse 4. Behold, his soul which is lifted up is not upright in him, but the just shall live by his faith. Goes to the righteous. We're going to live by the faith in Yahweh Shem Yahushua, verse 5. Yet also because he transgressed by wine. All of this is part of his wine. All right, his centers, you know, his deforestation, what he's doing with the fake food, the pestilence. He transgressed by wine. He thinks he's the Most High. He's a proud man. Need to keep it at home. That's why he has troops stationed in the Middle East. All right? That's why he's at war with Persia over the Strait of Hormuz, who enlarged his desire as hell, meaning as the grave, and is as death, right? He says death and hell follow with them. He cannot be satisfied. Nothing will never be enough for this man. But gathered unto him all nations, and heaping unto him all people. That's part of his NWO. He wants to chip everybody, right?
Lobbying to get what they want. Well, we know what they want. They want more for themselves and less for everybody else. But I'll tell you what they don't want. They don't want a population of citizens capable of critical thinking. They don't want well-informed, well-educated people capable of critical thinking. They're not interested in that. That doesn't help them. That's against their interest. That's right.
But even George Carlin couldn't predict how dark the globalist vision was going to become.
And in order to keep the compliant managed and the non-compliant contained, we have Palantir, which received a no-bid contract from the USDA to track federal employees' return to office compliance with real-time analysis and continuous compliance monitoring. The contract also includes the One Farmer, One File initiative, which will give Palantir a unified database of the land holdings, conservation practices, insurance claims, and financial data of every farmer who interacts with the USDA. This is the same...
Yeah, this man's that long disease, man. He's a disease to the earth, you know? This is from Sirach chapter 10 and verse 10. The physician cutteth off a long disease, and he that is today a king, tomorrow shall die. And that's Esau. He's that rich man. All right, when you read the book, I believe it's Luke 16, it talks about Lazarus and the rich man. He's that rich man. Today he's the king. He's in the power seat. But tomorrow, he's going to die. He's going to wake up in chains. Right? Let me jump up. Verse 8. Because of unrighteous dealings, this is Sirach 10:8. Because of unrighteous dealings, injuries, and riches got by deceit, the kingdom is translated from one people to another. So the Most High is a just power. He's getting ready to give the Israelites the kingdom. Right? Lord willing, we have the elect. We don't have anything to fear, man. Yahweh, Bashim Yahushai, is going to lead us through. He's going to have his angels helping us too. All right? This is Luke 12:32. Fear not, little flock, for it is your Father's good pleasure to give you the kingdom. Look what Esau's doing to it, man. All right? He's trying to slaughter everyone. That's why the Lord got to shorten the time, This is Matthew 24. And 22, it says, and except those days should be shortened, there should no flesh be saved, but for the elect's sake, those days shall be shortened. Call Elohim La, Yahweh Shem Yahushai. So if you notice the days are flying, the time is speeding up, this is why. The days are being shortened for the elect's sake. The Most High didn't shorten the days, wouldn't nobody be saved. The way this devil is moving. He'll destroy himself,
Palantir that is proudly assisting the United States and Israel in targeting operations against civilians across the Middle East. Palantir CEO Alex Karp published The Technological Republic in February 2025. It became an instant New York Times #1 bestseller and has been described as the AI manifesto inspiring Keir Starmer's government by the Times of London. Karp's central argument is that the state must merge its power with big tech, as it did during the Manhattan Project, to save Western civilization. The original 1930s technocracy movement, of which Elon Musk's grandfather was a member, declared that technocracy stands ready with a plan to salvage American civilization if and when democracy can no longer cope with the inherent disruptive forces.
It was always part of the plan. It all leads to the MOTB, and all of these things are being done. The 6, letter, you should know what letter. That's all to help the MOTB, all right?
The data centers are building a techno-communist system where ordinary people live inside tightly controlled smart cities under permanent digital supervision. Your movements tracked through carbon credit systems. Your purchases approved or denied based on behavioral scores. Your digital ID determining whether you can travel, work, communicate, or access your own money. Cash disappears, privacy disappears, anonymity disappears. And meanwhile, the elites who are determined to ascend to godhood retreat into fortified bunkers, powered by the very AI infrastructure they built on the ruins of the human world. As the digital cage closes around society, anybody digging into forbidden topics, questioning official narratives, or researching the machinery being built behind the scenes needs to understand one thing. You're being...
And that's it. That's it, man. All right, with that, I pray this has brought some edification. I want to give all praise, honor, and glory unto Yahweh Shem Yahushai. Peace, mercy, and blessings to the full. Shalom.